Hello everybody, Jet here, and welcome to my Beastmen campaign. If you were watching last time, you will realise what's been going on here. All of these little half armies here are little half armies because I just had a massive battle. The last episode, I just had a couple of humongous battles. One with the orcs, which was fairly devastating, and then we got, well, it was through the end turn, and then we got hit, and then we got hit, and then we got hit by the vampires. So we really did have to spend the entire episode fighting vampires off, and the undead off, which we did quite well. One of our Brey herds is pretty much gone, but we've got a new Brey herd out of it as well. However, for now, we're going to smash here. Anyway, we're just going to end turn. We're going to smash Grimhold. And then we are going to retreat back up to Karak, or towards Karak Norn, and we are going to, basically we're going to hide away and recoup. Oh, one of my herds has just gone and smashed a few people, which is good, to finish off their little armies. But no, we're going to go and hide away in Karak Norn for a few turns while we recoup. My plan is also to get one or two other hordes going at the same time. Oh, so we've got... Oh, do I want to actually fight this? I am going to fight this. This could be a tricky fight because, as you can see, my units are already low. But as we are pulling back to recoup, I'm not that fussed if I do lose a few units here. Oh, they've got a nice hill there. I don't know if they're going to be attacking because I'm intercepting them. Oh, so you've got a lot of archers, but one thing dwarfs are good at, I always find it weird, but it's a Warhammer thing. Dwarfs actually have quite good ranged units. These Thunderers certainly are very good, but actually it's their Quarrelers, their basic archers. A lot of people underrate them. When I play Dwarfs, I use Quarrelers right through the entire game, because a line of Quarrelers behind a line of Ironbreakers, and you will break any army which is thrown at you. I have defeated, in places where I've got choke points, I have defeated 3 or 4 armies being thrown at me at once, simply because Ironbreakers last for so long. Okay. Simple but boring tactics, guys. You know me, I do simple but boring tactics. I don't do really fancy shiny running around doing weird things. I do simple but boring. Right, I thought so. They are not going to move. In which case, let's move up. Though if they were sensible, they would move to a position where they can actually take advantage of a slope. However, if they're not doing that, I don't want to encourage them to do that. I'm just speeding up time a little bit while I position myself, guys, because much as I don't like speeding up time in battles, quite literally just watching us walk forwards is not the most interesting of things. Now, the thing I want to do is I don't want to let them catch me on this slope. So I'm going to push straight to the top of the slope. We're not going to slow down. Okay, so here the dwarfs come. That's actually what I didn't want to do. However, we'll use these guys to tweak them around. You can start pushing back. Okay. That's perfect there. They're pulling back a little bit. Let's pull back so they can't quite see me. While we reposition. Basically, I want to do my standard tactic. I want to enfold them. I want to get my Minotaurs in behind them. Can he start throwing yet? Yes. Okay, this is actually perfect. Let's start getting these guys around the back into their... Let's hit those Iron Drakes. And watch them smash into their artillery. That is perfect. You can actually smash into their longbeards there. Oh, forward rolling into their units. And these guys are now just hammering away at their units, which is perfect. And we're now surrounding them all. Let's hammer into the back of this unit of ranged. Watch these guys charge. I love the way they just kind of fling themselves into the back like that. And there you go. So we've got the Iron Drakes here, and the Longbeards here. They're just being smashed. And that's it. We have shredded them. So actually, but you see, this is the danger. And while I've got good leadership now, so my guys don't break, I lost a lot of units in that fight, but I am pulling back at the moment, and my other herd is still in very good shape. So while I took a lot of losses, well, I didn't take a lot of losses, I took 130, but that's because the dwarves did it wrong. They let me get around them. If they'd held me, if they'd spread out and held me, and they had enough units there, if they'd spread all of their melee units to pin me, though I'd have probably still had enough to get through and smash through their lines, but they could have at least tried to pin me. We're going to sacrifice the captives there, because I want to do a few sacrifices, because that will get me the ability to recruit Kazarak One Eye at some point soon. I do want to get him, because he is obviously one of the legendary lords, so he is a bit better than everybody else. So I'm relatively comfortable where we are at the moment. We're going to smash that other dwarven settlement, and then we're going to start pulling ourselves back to get ourselves safe, at which point we'll start doing a bit of recruitment. Oh, that's one of my things gone, and we have the vamps coming up after us again there. So there's something we do want to be careful of, though I can... A single vampire army I'm not that fussed about, though. Those vampires are... You can see how far they've got. They're right up here, so they're actually very dangerous. I just wish the Wood Elves would go to war with the Dwarfs as well. However, I think they are good friends in this, so... We'll see. There is also a lot of corruption about, so there's liable to be other things pop up, and they're liable to still have a lot of instability in these regions I've pushed through. So that is a good thing, because it means they're going to have to keep armies at home to hold things together. But at some point I do need to finish off the dwarf, so ideally what I want to do is I want to push, once I've rebuilt, I'm going to start pushing back through here. I might do a little attack into the Empire, simply because I need that for a couple of missions. But I will probably just come back and start smashing through these dwarf bits, and then potentially push back over here through the vamp territory and start clearing the dwarfs through the mountains. Also to give the orcs, who I've allied with, a little bit of support, and the Skaven will certainly lap up that. That is a very interesting thing, because technically it would be very nice for me to completely... So they've destroyed one Bray herd and forced the other to disband. And we've had a couple of decisive victories. But no, one of the things which would be very nice is to destroy the entire world, but I don't think that's really feasible now. I'm actually going to take the growth.
Malagor.
And we are now going to beast path straight up to here. He is going to follow next turn, and actually let's... We've got a little bit of levelling up to do. I'm tempted to put him on that because it will give him a bit more mass. And I have been told that it's not doing as much because it just shows the base stats here. So we'll have a look. I've got 40 points to spend, so... So actually no, that hasn't lowered his stats, so actually he is doing slightly better by being on there, which is very nice. And obviously now he's got a little bit more HP, he can move around a bit quicker, and he is now high mass as well. So he's can smash through units. However, he's also not as good at being... he's more vulnerable to anti-large now, however. However, I've got a lot of units which I can deal with stuff like that in. So this guy is coming up because he's going to be going into the new horde which I'm about to spew out. I should have probably spawned that this turn, actually. And then obviously... oh, what's his... anyway, my lord, my legendary lord, who I've suddenly forgotten the name of. Sorry about that, guys. Is going to be being brought up as well. The dwarves have a lot of armies over there. This is why I'm quite glad they're in quite a few wars at the moment, because that means it's a lot. I don't have to be paying as much attention to them because they are dealing with other people. But it's only going to be time before they really start pushing back if they are big. But I don't know how much they've confederated within the mountains. So and vampire counts are big, which does scare me because there are a few factions in this which seem to have managed to expand a lot more than they used to in the old world battles. So we'll have to watch what goes on with them. But obviously, it's not the end of the world if some of them get a bit bigger, so long as I can make the most of it. There's a Queek running around doing his things. So we do still have a few other Empire factions, but I don't know if, but certainly a lot of them do seem to have disappeared, because I think there's been a lot of confederation going on. So I think the Empire is probably very powerful at the moment, which is something I do want to pay attention to, because they will, if they realise I'm close, they will just start throwing things at me, so I just want to keep an eye on them to make sure I don't get too much damage. Okay, you can beast path up here. You can be taken off that before I do anything else. And you are now going to recruit a lord. So aggressive, determined. The extra leadership is actually always very useful. And you are now going to take a big chunk of this army. Now we are on negative at the moment, which was always going to happen with doing that, but that's not the end of the world, because I can obviously re-recruit into this army, and then once I've got more armies I can start raiding in more places. So want to get myself some archers back as well fairly quickly. And did that. In fact, let's do a couple of bits differently. I want to move. I'm just going to throw everything from this army into here. Or not. Even though he couldn't move, it's now messing me up, so it won't let me move forwards. Oh, and I can get a Bray Shaman now. I know a lot of people... Oh, Death. Death is meant to be quite good, so... And he can go into one of my hordes as well. Okay, anyway, we're going to end turn, and we're not recruiting this turn because I messed up. Okay, so let's just hold here for the time being. While all of these guys get themselves back into position. As I say, we've got quite a few turns worth of income there, so I'm not that worried about letting my income drop off a bit, because once I've got a few more hordes out, I can start raiding and demolishing cities. I can push back towards Karak-Izor, because I don't like leaving things undone, but it might also be worth me just giving the Empire a poke first, because I've got a mission which involves me fighting the Empire, so that's not going to be a bad thing for me to do, because I get a quest item from that. Let's see what the vampire count's doing. I'm kind of hoping they go and cap that place behind me, because then I can potentially turn around and smash that and steal that back, which wouldn't be a bad thing. Of course, at some point I want to go and hit the high elves, sorry, the wood elves, but they are quite powerful in their homeland. But if I take out their homeland, if I can smash this little bit of their area, what they can do elsewhere is massively impacted. That is one of the things with the elves. They are quite vulnerable if you do take out their sort of home settlements, because while they can do things outside of it, they rely on their home settlements for the majority of their upkeep and their buffs and their recruitment. Now, I don't know if the AI works in quite the same way, but generally they do try and do that in these games, even if they get a few little buffs. So we'll watch what happens. I kind of hope Queek starts taking on those Crusaders, because they don't like me. Okay, and we're almost back round to us. Doomseeker's taking a while. Okay, right. So this little horde, the little horde which can start recruiting a little bit. Actually, that's what I should do. I'm going to keep my archers, and the little horde's going to recruit its own archers while it waits. And you can start doing some of your own recruitment here. You are going to get that mage I just recruited into your army. Just to give us something shiny and new. Oh, sorry, you guys are meant to be in this army. Sorry, just trying to get them in the right armies here. You need to be in Goros's army. As do you. I just want to look what spells this guy gets. So obviously we get a hex, another hex, an augment, a direct damage, a vortex. So I'm going to try something different with the next one, because I do quite like wind spells, even if they're not necessarily the next. I am going to pop out another mage from here. Let's have a look. Can I see what spells they get beforehand? Does it actually tell me what they do? A Flock of Doom, that is a very fun spell. The Amber Spear, Arcane Conduit, which is normal. I don't think he's getting anything. Let's look through shadows. Yeah, there's definitely some wind spells in that one, so I'm going to grab a shadows one this time. So confident. Ooh, that's actually always useful. You can go into the other one. And what are you going to be doing recruiting wise, Mr. Goros? So you're going to get four Gors, a couple of Minotaurs with shields, a Centaur, sorry, a Cygor, a couple of Centaurs. Ooh, and you're going to get some Razor Gors from this army. So you're going to get a couple of Razor Gors from here. And you are going to recruit yourself a couple of more new Razor Gore chariots. And then we're going to get a couple of Ungor spears with shields just to give us a little bit of anti-large on the wings. So this horde is not quite as strong as my main horde, but that's not a problem here. It's now got a mage as well, so this guy's also getting a mage, and we are recruiting him up. Now, obviously what's going to happen here is I'm going to be moving some other units over to this one as well while I'm leveling this one up. The first thing we're going to push up is this tree. Okay guys, and that is an end turn. So right now we're just licking our wounds and getting ourselves sorted out into position again, and we're getting that third horde going. In fact, I'm probably going to start pushing out a fourth horde, which is just going to hide away and build itself up for a little bit. Or it's just going to hide away while it grows and gets a nice amount of growth so it can build things. But that third horde really will add to our power. And that one can come with us, and the little fourth horde can just sit there quietly and grow itself. Okay, so that's good. They've retaken Grimhold, so I'm going to go smash there again in a turn or two. Though I want to get my armies back up to full strength first. Now I'm not raiding in the Orc lands for obvious reasons, because I'm using this as a safe harbour for the time being. Though this little bit of Orc territory is a little exposed, but for the time being we can always hold here. Let's see what the Skaven are doing. They are leaving their little dwarf army in the middle, though the Skaven look quite powerful. This is the thing, is I think everybody's getting quite powerful at the moment, and I am still a little small, so that's why I'm starting to build up, get these extra hordes, because I know a lot of people do like, it's good to get extra hordes early because then they start growing, but obviously it bleeds growth off your main hordes. Now I have thought about just literally clearing a large area and having a few central hordes as kind of recruitment bases, which I spawn hordes from and push them out away from, and anything which comes near, obviously. That's why you've got a nice safe zone cleared around them, but it seems a little boring for me. Commander of the herds. So we've got a choice. I'm going to take the extra leadership for the time being. Okay. I thought you were already in an army. Right, you can actually go into Goros's army. And you can go into Ulruk's army. Okay, we've got a little bit of a level up here. That's good. So we are going to have slightly less on our front line here. I've only got one unit of spears, but you know, I'm going to swap that with something else, simply because it just feels a little waste. Because the Gors are my main line, and these guys are kind of designed to flank around. I could replace them with Bestie Gors. See, I'm getting a new Cygor. These guys have armor piercing, which is good for slamming into the back of people. But then again, so do these. These guys are anti-large, so I might actually get myself... I'm going to get myself a set of great weapon Minotaurs as well, just so I've got a bit more anti-large. Because what I'm lacking in this army is anti-large, actually. The thing is, these guys are shielded, which stops them taking as much damage as they charge in. But then again, they're also generally not taking the flank most of the fire. I'm going to get 2 great weapons and 1 shielded. Keep 1 shielded, so I've got a bit more armor piercing, especially if I'm going to be fighting the dwarves. Because having that extra armor piercing is going to be useful against the dwarves. I might even drop off another set of archers because they're not so good. But then again, they were very useful in that last battle. But I've already dropped to 5, and we've got a mage and we've got a centaur, so could even potentially drop one of those and get another centaur because they are technically ranged. This one's just reforming slightly. Again, I can always reform this one a little bit in a bit. You can get yourself a couple more archers. And actually, before we do that, we are going to bleed off some other units from this army. What else do I want in this? So this is quite a nice shaped army now. I want to recruit. This guy will only have 4 archers. I'll tell you what, we're going to try that. We're going to try working that way, see how it works. I can't recruit on him this turn, but this guy obviously needs to recruit a few more Ungors. And now we're getting to the point where we're going to have to start raiding again soon. But this is going to be quite a powerful little army, so that's not necessarily an issue. And obviously we're going to have to get the Razorgors off of my other horde once that guy's in order. So next turn we'll bleed them off onto... We'll work out where we're going next turn. I've got a few turns grace, so I don't need to be rushing. But you can see the difference, because this horde doesn't have the reductions in costs. So having stuff in that horde is making it much more expensive to maintain that horde. But the nice thing about that horde is I can start pushing that, throwing it around the place soon to start pushing out its growth. So first place we're going to do is we're going to go and hit this little vamp settlement. And then once we've got all 3 hordes up, we might push back towards Karakais, or we're going to try and build up a good chunk of growth. That's very good now. We're going to build up a really nice big chunk of growth. And once we've got all that sorted out, we'll push out our 4th horde. And now it's going to be, for now, it's about growth. It's about growing the hordes. I am very sorry, guys. This has been 28 minutes of watching me growing my hordes. Which sometimes has to happen. So I will try and get another episode out today where we are going on the aggressive again. But sometimes you do need to just take your time to get yourself sorted. It is always interesting watching what the world is doing. So Queek is expanding there nicely, and he is my ally, as are the Orcs. So that's not necessarily a bad thing, because as I said, he is potentially keeping all the dwarf factions quite busy. Certainly the elves. Ooh, we've got Avaland there. So that's one of the Empire factions which hasn't been subsumed into the main Empire so far. Okay, Redhorn tribe want a defensive alliance. How about a confederation? Oh, they won't do that. I'm going to accept that at the moment, and I might try and throw a confederation there at some point because... sorry, it dropped my ring. Getting a fully fledged horde wouldn't be bad, even if I do end up rejigging it. Okay. How long does that last? 6 turns. This lasts 3. I wish I'd got that a few turns ago, because that would have been very beneficial while I was pushing out my new hordes. However, no replenishment is a very nasty thing to take. So I'm going to take this one for the time being, because it's the best of the bad lot. Right, you are going to start pushing now. Down this way. You can give him your 2 new chariots, which puts that guy back up to 20. You are going to follow. We'll re-get your chariots soon. And you are happy. I'm happy with the way you're going, the shape you're going. So now we are going to just start pushing down towards there. Now, obviously, first thing we're doing is straight into this leadership tree again. And we are going to smash this place for a little bit of growth in our new horde. And we are on our last tech now, guys. Okay. Which just tells me how far behind I am in size compared to everybody else. Now we're going to hit here for growth. And then I'm going to need to push out and actually start raiding somewhere. It might be Karak Izor, so we'll have a look where we are and how we're doing. But I do want to start getting that 4th horde out soon. But what I can also do, what I'd like to do is once I get powerful enough, is I want to split into 2 sort of separate raiding groups, which I can kind of do now. I've got 3 hordes, and once I've got 4 I can definitely do that. But as I start getting bigger, I can start separating my hordes out a lot more, and then if I get 1 large incursion against me, it's not the end of the world. Whoa, we have vampires coming. Okay, so maybe I'm not going that way, guys. I'm half tempted just to turn on the orcs, but they've provided me a safe harbour. I could always just beast path over into this dwarf settlement here. I have a worrying feeling that the dwarfs and the vampires are friends with each other, which is a kind of terrifying prospect, actually. I could even just beast path over and hit the elves once I've got all 3 hordes. And these settlements will be worth a lot of income. I can still hold for a few turns. You know, I've still got 40 odd K left, and I'm running at 4K. So I've still got quite a few turns before I do really need to start worrying and pushing out there, though, guys. Anyway, we are going to end this session of Watch Jet's Hordes Grow after this end turn. And next session, guys. Oh wow! So the dwarfs just lost their capital to the vampires. So that is interesting. But no, after anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this session of Watch Ink's Herds Grow. Next time, I promise we will be going on the offensive again, so you will get a bit more of an interesting session to watch, guys. So let's just check exactly how we are. Let's just pop these guys into encampment stance for now. You can use this to recruit, because they're not going to attack me here. Oops, wrong thing. So we're going to get our 2 extra chariots. And he will be done next turn. At which point it's going to be, we will, I'm going to jump over all of my hordes to Waterfall Palace. And we'll start burning through the elves' homeland if we can. Though it could be very short-lived if they bring all their armies back, but we shall see how this goes. Okay, guys, and that is it. Thank you very much for watching, guys. I do hope you've enjoyed the episode, even though it has been a bit of a slower one. Thank you very much, guys.